Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Grant Boone, here to give you some Great Cities news. Unfortunately, I have no idea what they are singing. I do know who they are. It's Junior and Patricia Lira, and they are Great Cities missionaries in Brasilia, Brazil. But I don't speak Portuguese, so I'm going to phone a friend to translate for us. Brian, are you there?
I'm here, Grant. How are you?
It is great. By the way, this is Brian Gibbs, Director of Church Planning for Great Cities, as well as a former missionary in Brazil. Brian, what is it exactly that Junior and Patricia are singing?
Well, I love that song. They're singing Morreu por mim, which means Christ died for me.
Wow. While we're here with you, why don't you share with us some of the other great work going on in Brazil?
I'd love to, Grant. 11 years ago, the Brasilia team was the first team recruited by Great Cities, composed entirely of Brazilian nationals, and Junior and Patricia are part of that team. Today, we're working with a second team that has two firsts associated with it. It's our Boa Vista team, and as the name would indicate, their target city is Boa Vista, Brazil. One of the things that's new with this team, Grant, is going to be a bivocational team. By that, we mean when team members arrive in the city of Boa Vista, they're going to look for part-time jobs, and they'll help to support themselves as they work as church planters. The second first associated with this team is that part of the financial support and part of the supervision for the effort will be done by Brazilian churches, a coalition of churches in the city of Campo Grande, Brazil. So we're excited about that, Grant.
Wow. And another first, having you with us on Some Great Cities News. Brian, great to see you again.
Thank you, Grant. Good to see you.
Well, if you know Brian, you know that he loves Brazil. In fact, he was on a missionary team with a guest who will join us later in the episode. Like I said earlier, we're here to share some Great Cities news because we could all use some great news today. And that great news involves you. We're so grateful that you're here. And when you registered for this event, a portion of your donation went to provide a meal for a family delivered by one of our missionary teams. Many of our Latin church members have been hit hard during this shutdown. So let's join Ronald Sabino in Cucuta, Colombia.
Buenos días, hermanos, Dios les bendiga. Agradecidos con ustedes de la Iglesia de los Estados Unidos, el apoyo que han enviado aquí a Colombia. Nosotros que en estos momentos estamos necesitados. De verdad que Dios los bendiga porque Dios nos ha usado a ustedes como instrumento para ayudar a todas aquellas personas necesitadas. De verdad, de corazón, Dios les bendiga y que sigan apoyando a esta iglesia. Gracias a ustedes, los hermanos de la iglesia, los hermanos de Estados Unidos, por el apoyo que nos han brindado con la ayuda alimenticia y también con la ayuda espiritual que nos han dado por medio de las redes.
Gracias, hermanos.
That was awesome. Thanks to all of you for feeding a family tonight. Now, as you know, Great Cities Missions has been sharing Christ with the Latin world for the last 44 years. An important component of that is providing support and care to missionary families and teams. A great example is this video from Becky Holton. Becky Holton is Great Cities Missions Director of Missionary Care, and she recently hosted a Zoom conversation with 5 missionary couples from around the world. The call was designed to inform viewers about hardships different communities felt during the shutdown and to let us know how to help. This call was special because it went outside of Great Cities' Latin American focus. Featured on the call were Kent and Amber Brantley in Zambia, Joel and Kristen Osborne in Japan, Luis and Sandra Vielman in Colombia, Manuel and Nancy Gonzalez in Texas, Jill and Justin Hill in Brazil, and counselor Dottie Schultz. All 5 couples share difficulties their communities are experiencing, but also how they see God at work. Great Cities Missions missionary Luis Vielman told the group about the number of baptisms that have been happening weekly in Cucuta, Colombia. Even though the church can't be together because of the quarantine, lives are being changed because of the way the missionary team is staying connected with people outside the church walls. 27 people have given their lives to Christ in Cucuta since the pandemic began. But that's only some Great Cities news. Other Great Cities Missions church plants have shared pictures of their baptisms too. Oh, but we have some more great news. More meals being delivered because of you. A blue basket, just like this one, is going to be full of food and delivered to church members in Huehuetoca, Mexico, by missionaries Miguel and Anayeli Zacarias, followed by Abner Perez and Serapio Torres. Let's listen in.
Sí, muchas gracias. Dios nos bendiga.
De parte de la iglesia y pues en estos momentos difíciles para Dios una ayudita.
Sí, muchas gracias. Que Dios nos bendiga. Sí, gracias. Hasta luego, que estén bien. Sí, gracias. Muchas gracias. Hasta luego.
Para los hermanos, ¿verdad? Así que con todo el corazón deseamos que lo reciba y que lo disfruten con la familia.
Muchas gracias.
Dios nos
Dios bendiga.
No, thumbs up to you, Abner. Thumbs up to you and to all of you. You know who else loves to give a good thumbs up? This guy, Great Cities missionary Jose Coronado in Bogota, Colombia, who says their effort to collect and disperse food has been a way for non-Christians and those not involved in their church to work with church members and begin new relationships. We've seen a lot of Great Cities missions teams and churches across Latin America collecting food and supplies to give away to their community. Way to go, guys. The pandemic forced all of us to learn new ways to stay connected. The missionary team in Asunción, Paraguay, made sure that even their smallest friends didn't get left out. Children are meeting together with their Bible class teachers on Zoom each week to share a story and activity together.
Es una canción re divertida.
Todos los niños tienen micrófono.
¿Se acuerdan? Ok. Hola, bien. Pongan, si tienen su máscara, pueden poner. Ok. Máscara. Voy a poner la.
Hip, hip, hooray! Hey, it's actually just me, Grant, here. Speaking of hooray, let's hear from Director of Latin Teams Chris Fry to find out about work going on today to prepare the next GCM team.
Thank you, Grant. I am really excited about this next mission team from Great Cities that is going to Medellin, Colombia. You know, when we begin the assessment process, we generally need about a year. So all this began pre-pandemic, and we were fortunate with technological options to be able to finish this in the middle of the quarantine. And so we formed this team in early spring, and now as we fundraise, we're stepping out on faith, depending on our Lord, that churches will join us to support this team to Medellin. It's a fantastic, talented team with 3 couples that have served on previous Great Cities missions teams, and 1 couple who is from Venezuela, who can help us reach Venezuelan refugees in the city of Medellin. So will you join us in stepping out on faith, in prayer and support, as we hope to send this team sometime next year? We have no idea the obstacles or challenges ahead of us, but we feel called for God to put a church in Medellin, Colombia through this mission team. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris, for that glimpse into what's next for Great Cities. You should have received instructions on how to make moqueca baiana from the recipe that was sent to you. Hopefully some of you were able to make this tonight. It is amazing. All right, this is really rude of me to eat in front of you, but I'm going to finish this whole bowl. So let's do a check of the weather. How is the weather out there?
All right, guys, how's the weather here in Aggieland? The weather's great here in Aggieland.
The weather's great in Amarillo, Texas this morning.
It looks great in Asunción, Paraguay.
It looks great in Curitiba, Paraná, Brasil.
It looks great in Medellín, Colombia. Luce genial en Medellín, Colombia hoy.
It looks great here in Midland, Texas.
It looks great in Nashville, Tennessee.
Tá tudo ótimo aqui em Oklahoma City.
I hate to interrupt this great weather report, but I understand we have one final video of a mission team delivering food. Let's go to São Luís, Brazil, where missionaries Jill and Justin Hill are delivering one of those meals along with their 3 kids. Justin and Jill, along with their teammates Mark and Melinda Dye, have been missionaries in São Luís for 2.5 years.
What made you guys decide to share the Cesta Básicas?
Yeah, what makes us share is because some people just like us don't have conditions for buying things and like to have food at home, so we decided to share all the things we have that you guys are giving us. We're very grateful for this. We have to have people just like us in our lives.
So thank you. Thank you. I give
That fires me up. Just incredible. The families shared the food they were given to other families in their community. This is Great Cities Missions. Plant churches that serve communities, make disciples, and leave nationals to carry on the work of sharing Christ with the Latin world. Kelly Grant, you have got to be proud of the work that Great Cities Missions is doing.
Thank you, Grant. You were right. We are very proud of the good work the Great Cities missionaries and Latin Christians are doing right now in the midst of some very challenging times. So many people who survive on so little have suffered greatly during the pandemic, and many are struggling to provide even basic necessities for their families. We're grateful for the spirit of sacrifice and generosity that has been evident over the last few months, and this is where those of you watching play an extremely important role. In fact, Great Cities Missions would not be able to support these mission teams and national church leaders without your help. You make it possible for GCM staff like the ones that have been mentioned, Dr. Becky Holton, Chris Fry, and Brian Gibbs, and others at GCM to provide much needed encouragement and advice. So we thank you for your financial help that has allowed this ministry to spread the good news of Jesus throughout Latin America for the last 44 years. I humbly ask you to make a donation right now to generously support Great Cities this year. And we also ask you to consider how to get others involved in supporting the good work that God is doing. And don't forget, a portion of the donations that we receive will be used to provide food to those in Latin America who are in need. As Grant showed us tonight, moqueca baiana is delicious, and I hope you will get a chance to make this dish. You will have other chances over the next 6 months to prepare other Latin dishes because we'll be sending you additional recipes that are typical of various countries where we have church planting mission teams. We want you to make these at home with your families and your friends and enjoy the experience of eating great food from Latin America. And we hope that it serves as a reminder of the good work that God is doing in the great cities of the Latin world. And now we have a special guest with some closing thoughts.
Hi there, my name is Max Lucado from My Home to Yours. God's richest blessings to be upon you. May He bless us all with a spirit of compassion and generosity as we think about this wonderful Great Cities ministry. You know, I'm a long-time beneficiary of this ministry. My wife and I were missionaries in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil during the 1980s. And it was through this ministry that we were able to make the transition and get established in Rio. And if any good was done because of our presence there, it's through the power of the Holy Spirit and the blessings of Jesus Christ, but also through the ministry of folks like the ones we're talking to and talking about today. So may the Lord bless this wonderful ministry. May He bless each and every one of us with a spirit of kindness, compassion, and generosity.
I love that guy. Well, you heard it here. No better news than some Great Cities news. We'll see you next time.
Nice to